Welcome back to Tokyo, which is hosting the World Gymnastics Championships, and it's proving to be one of the best ever. Last night, it was the men's team final, and it was a competition that went right down to the wire. There was a cold war for medals between America and Russia, and was it to be a Chinese or a Japanese takeaway? Well, whatever it was the ultimate game of winner stays on.
Well, Japan, they need 0.6 from somewhere. What a performance! The crowd are on their feet!
Well, the tension in here between teams is unbelievable.
What more performance to go for them? Oh, he's off the bar! And that could be it. It looks as if the Olympic champion has enabled China to retain their title. All eyes, Miss Serena, are on him, and he has a massive job to do. Oh! Wow! He needs 14.7 to stay ahead of America. Uchimura! He's done it! What a final this has been.
It was such a shame that Japan couldn't clinch it in front of a home crowd, but it was a thoroughly entertaining competition. Now today it's the turn of the women in the all-around competition. That's individuals competing over 4 pieces of apparatus. This is the hotel where all of the gymnasts are staying, and I've come here for a coffee with Great Britain's Beth Tweddle to get her take on the top 24. Just to set minds at rest, you're not competing in the all-around, are you?
No, I just do 2 apparatus, so I can't qualify for that.
No, I was going to say, very relaxed, obviously.
Yeah,
with,
quite chilled out.
Just 2 hours to go to the competition. So what are your thoughts on this all-around then?
It's going to be an interesting competition. I mean, obviously Jordan Weaver, I think, will go in as favourite, even though Comover qualified first, but it was only 0.1 in it. So
yeah.
Those two will definitely be battling at the top, but obviously you've got Ali Raisman from America. She's looking strong, and she'll be wanting to contend as well.
Yeah. How much of a bigger deal is it that Mustafina hasn't made it?
I think
current world champion.
Coming into this champs, Russia will have been quite sorry to have lost her at the Europeans. It's a big loss for the world of gymnastics because she's such a top all-arounder. So yeah. Straight away she's out of the all-around, so everyone else would have kind of been thinking. But then again, I'm sure the Americans would have liked a showdown with her to see whether they could win that world title.
I mean, because they are looking incredibly confident. I mean, that team final, I mean, it was just a phenomenal performance.
Yeah, I mean, ourselves and America were the only teams to go 12 for 12, and it is hard to go 12 for 12 in a pressurised situation. Obviously they had a lot more pressure on them because they were going for that world title, but when we've been training with them, they're exactly the same. They put their arm up, they bang the routines out, thank you very much, and walk away to the next piece. So they've obviously been training really hard, and they're there ready to win.
Absolutely. So you think then Weaver could be riding off that confidence and just pick Comover? Because I mean, Comover in the team final was a bit of a
unfortunately Comover did have a bit of a disappointment in the team final. I know she fell on beam, and then she had a bit of a mess up on floor, but she's a first-year senior. It takes time to get used to the pressure. I think she will have been thinking that everyone's sort of watching her. She's had a tough year. She's been out the whole of the year, and she's only kind of just made it back for this championships, whereas Weaver's been on top form all year round.
A quick word on Hannah as well, who's now lying in about 13th. I think
she's qualified 13th.
Can she get in to the top 12, do you think? Because that would be a goal, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's been training really hard. She's been consistent throughout the year, so hopefully tonight she can go out there. She made a couple of errors in team final and still was up there, so hopefully tonight will be her night to sort of break that top 12 spot.
Well, we can see the lineup here for the women's all-around final. This will be individual gymnasts competing through 4 pieces of apparatus, and that's the top group there, top qualifiers. So we've got Victoria Comover, who was actually the highest qualifier for this competition, Jordan Weaver as well, USA. Now there's going to be quite a tight-fought battle, I think, between those two, don't you, Christine?
Yes, very tightly fought. They're the 2 gymnasts with the big start values. So if they don't make mistakes, people can't catch them.
Okay, well, we can see down the field there as well. We've got Danielle Hipólito from Brazil. There's 24 gymnasts in all, and it's quite an interesting point, really. We see them coming out here that this is not necessarily the top 24 gymnasts in the world, because you're only allowed 2 per country, and you've got China, you've got Japan, and you've got America. that basically they qualified 4 gymnasts in that top number. So taking into account those and removing those gymnasts from that top 24 that aren't allowed to be here, we've got Hannah Whelan that's now in 13th place as far as Great Britain is concerned. So a wonderful performance for her, and obviously she's going to be looking to get into that top 12, that golden top 12.
Yes, very much so. Hannah would have qualified whatever the ruling, but you're right, the very powerful nations, all of their gymnasts are strong, and they're only allowed the top 2 to qualify, so they in effect are fighting even within their team for the right to be in the individual final.
And the top qualifiers, Mitch, will be going around in the same group, which gives us obviously a really good idea, gymnast for gymnast, how things are lying.
Yeah, it's very rare for someone from the group below to jump up, but it has happened before. Usually your winner will come from that top group. It's very unusual from someone in the second group able to make the leap and get into the rankings from there, but it has happened before.
Looking there at the top 6 gymnasts, this is Group 1 for Yao Jian. There's Komova from Russia, who's the fifth. It'll be interesting to see what happens to her here, because she had a bit of a nightmare in the team final, did incredibly well in qualification, but kind of lost it, didn't she, for Russia?
Yes, she did. We just see a quick picture of Hannah Whelan there as well. Yes, she did. She's had surgery on an ankle in May, so she's still relatively on the way back to full fitness, and I think sort of day 1 took quite a lot out of her. Wasn't quite able to fire at the same level on day 2, but she's had a bit of a rest. She'll no doubt be keen to put that behind her and prove herself today.
So again, all eyes then on this top group. The pressure really on her first World Championships as well. I mean, it's a big, big deal, especially as teammate Mustafina isn't in this, the current world champion.
Now that was the point I was going to make, that in the team competition she would have felt a weight on her shoulders that perhaps she won't feel tonight, and we'll see more of what she's capable of, because to replace Mustafina is a real challenge, and perhaps it weighed a little bit heavy on her.
How will Weaver be feeling? We just saw her there a second ago. There's the group starting on bars. Coco Sarumi at the end. Hannah Whelan once again. She's in the 3rd group. They're going to be competing on beam.
And this gymnast, just presenting, Ana Porgras of Romania, is one gymnast that could leap up into that top group. She had some errors in qualification, but she has got those qualities.
Oh, indeed. She was world champion on beam at the last World Championships, so she's going to get herself off to a great start.
It would be great if she could leapfrog. Add a bit of spice to the competition. Here we are then at the halfway stage. Victoria Komova, 30.333. Significant lead over Yao Yinan, and Huang Huishang is in 3rd at the moment. Leading the USA Challenges, Jordan Weber. Ippolito up in 9th.
And Hannah Whelan, I think, in 7th, is that correct? Yep.
Hannah Whelan, that's great to be in 7th at the halfway stage. Celine van Gerner for the Netherlands in 17th, and Laura Mitchell down in 22nd. You don't see that very often.
So things a little bit different than as we predicted, Beth. There's halfway round. The Americans, I mean, what's going on with both of them?
Yeah, it just shows what pressure can do. I mean, a couple of mistakes on bars from Ali, and then Jordan just missed her hands. So hopefully she can recover. Ali will be a bit more difficult.
And wonderful composure from Komova as well. I mean, she was held at the end of the runway for ages by the judges before she could even start with her vault. Went on to bars and's really building.
Yeah, it just shows how experienced she is in international competitions, to be able to stand at the end of a vault run for 5 minutes before you can get up and double twist Yurchenko. And she did it with style, and then she went to bars, which is one of her favourite pieces, and got the top score of the competition so far, so she's definitely still up there.
And Hannah Poorgrass, definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, unfortunately in qualification she had a bit of a slip on beam and a bit of a mess up on floor, so she qualified right down, so it's quite nice because she's out of the pressure group, she's just going around doing her own thing, but she's up there in the standings.
Yeah, now obviously you know Hannah, but are you surprised to see her in, well, I think 7th she's lying at the moment?
Not at all. I mean, you've seen the mistakes that are happening, and Hannah's just kept it cool and calm, and she did a really good beam and the best floor routine that we've seen since she's been here. So just fingers crossed she can keep it going for Bolton Bars.
Okay, it's on to the third piece of apparatus.
Or behind. So, you know, if Komova can stay on her feet.
Look at that, Hannah Whelan in 6th place. Victoria Komova hangs on. Jordan Weaver's moved up, and Yao Yinan in 3rd, Huang Huixiang in 4th. It's tight at the top. Laura Mitchell's done herself a lot of good as well. She's gone up into 9th. Afanaseva, she's down in 10th, perhaps out of the running at this stage. Coco Surumi clawing back, she's in 16th at the moment. Elizabeth Seitz to Germany, she's clawed back as well. Celine van Goorlen from the Netherlands, she's doing a good job to get into the top 20 at this stage.
Well, Beth and I are now with Hannah Whelan's mum. Hannah, how are you feeling? All right, Karen?
Very nervous.
Very nervous.
Very nervous. Very pleased with how she's done so far, but we all know bars is her least favourite piece, and that's the last one to go, so just hoping she can keep it going.
Are you sitting down or standing up for this competition?
Sitting down, clinging on to my other daughter's hand.
So you can actually watch then? I mean, that's a good thing that you can see it.
We're not enjoying it. We're gymnastics fans, but we're not really enjoying it because we'd love to watch some of the others, but it's very nerve-wracking. But she's looking okay.
Well, her scores have been up over 14. Can she get over a 14 on bars? I mean, it's going to be tricky.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of scores that she's had here has been slightly lower than 13, but on the first day she didn't get something counted, and obviously she's been working on that in the training gym, so hopefully it'll be up high 13s, low 14.
Well, she has gone up a place every round so far, Karen, so, you know, we're all like this, we really are. But, I mean, just a word on the beam then, Beth, for the leading group, it was quite a story and a few trips and falls.
Yeah, quite a few falls. It just shows that the pressure's getting to them. They all want that world title, but you put yourself under so much pressure that sometimes it backfires on you.
Yeah. Well, Komova's still out in the lead. Can Weber do it? Can she grab that gold?
She's not far behind, and obviously her floor is very strong. We all know that Komova's had a tough year with ankle injuries, so we'll just have to see how well she's recovered after that injury.
Right. It is now the last piece. Karen, where are you going to watch this?
Back down there, I think.
Okay. Well, listen, we wish you all the very best for the whole family, and here we go with the final piece of apparatus.
Victoria Komova from Russia, 16 years old. Can she score 14.367? If she can, she's world champion.
Great start. 1.5 twist through to double Arabian. Now then, big test for a medal. We wondered if she could come through the pressure. So far, plenty of energy from the double tap. Just a little skip back. Now she's well into the zing of the routine. Again, the crowd with her. Very precise in the leap so far. Just one skip back from the double tuck. How is this tumble going to be? Pretty much under control for the triple twist. Superb effort so far. Oh, and she dipped out past the vertical line at the end of those spins. The judges have room to deduct. Pulls hard and a slight buckle on the double pike. Well, that's her bid. Is it good enough?
I think she's landed that final tumble and knew she'd done enough.
Well, she's the gymnast that's worked without errors.
Consistent. With touches of brilliance too. Let's not just say, you know, I mean, she's got the work. The bars was beautiful, wasn't it?
Oh, and that floor routine was beautiful. Lovely tumbling. Her mother was part of the Soviet team that won the world gold medal in 1985. She's been destined to be a gymnast all the way through, and you have to say does have similarities to Nastya Lukin in the real classical, elegant style. A beautiful gymnast and will be a great champion.
Very faithful to the Swan Lake choreography as well. Lots of the elements, the arm movements, the finish positions. Beautifully done.
And she's looking anxiously. The first time we've seen smile and relaxation.
Oh! Well, 14.333. She's gone into second. Just 0.033 behind Weber.
And you know, it will have been that fall out of the double spin, the spin with her leg up. They will have counted that as a fall, I think. Otherwise, why else that score?
Well, Weber can't believe it. Komova can't believe it.
She's decimated.
I honestly thought she'd nailed it.
Wow.
So did absolutely everyone here in this arena.
But you've made the point so many times, Christine, it's not only about the tumbles, is it? And that could have been very expensive, that spin, to fall from it. Look, what can you say to her now?
The
So
atmosphere in here is just that of disbelief.
Absolutely. The only other place they would have had deductions was that final tumble. She landed, but her chest was down. But hey, you know, Weber put her foot out of the floor, so they'd been scoring floor quite reasonably.
Well, two sets of tears for different reasons.
Hannah Whelan, I can tell you, scored 13.258, and she finishes 9th.
Which is a fantastic performance inside the top 10. Really a superb result for Hannah and for Great Britain.
Yao Yinyan scores 14.766. I was talking to Beth earlier on, and the idea was to try and aim for that 12. I mean, to finish 9th for Hannah, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Fantastic. Inside the top 10.
But that's got a ring to it, isn't it? Top 10 of the world, that's got a real ring to it.
Really special.
Well, just look at the state of Komova. I feel for her. I mean, she finished that floor routine. She looked down, she had this beam and smile on her face. It was as if, that's it.
I wonder whether the Russian camp will protest that score. It's gone through, but they can protest the D score. They can protest the difficulty score. And we saw a couple of protests be upheld last night, or 2 days ago. So I do wonder whether they might.
Surely they're going to have a goal.
You would expect so. You would if you were the coach.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, when you see her like that, she really is 16 years old. She gave in to the pressure there, and you suddenly realise this is a young girl at the top of the game who really thought she'd done it.
And I don't think for 1 minute Weber thought she'd done it.
No. Oh. Komova, well, not much of a exchange of glances there, was there, between Weber and Komova? So, Jordyn Weber is the women's all-around world champion. Victoria Komova has to settle for silver. Yao Yinyan from China takes bronze. As confirmation, this year's women's all-around final. Jordyn Weber, world champion by 0.033. Ahead of Komova. Yao Yinyan takes bronze, Brisbane 4th, Wang 5th, Anna Polgrass 6th, Afanseva 7, Lauren Mitchell 8, and Hannah Whelan finishes the competition in 9th.
Hannah, 16th place last year, up to 9th place this year. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have improved so much, and I really enjoyed the competition today, and I'm really happy with all my routines.
What was it about your performance out there that impressed you the most tonight?
I was pretty happy with my vault. I don't think I've ever stuck a vault dead before. But I just overall really enjoyed the competition, and I went out there and did 4 clean routines.
When it came to bars at the end, that gives you something to work on a little bit still, I guess, because if you can improve that a little bit, the only way is even further up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, bars is one of my weak pieces, so hopefully I can go back to the gym and really improve on my bars, and then that'll up my overall score.
How do you feel your performances have come on here over the week, from qualifying all the way through that team final up to now?
Well, I think as it's gone on, the pressure's been less and less. I mean, qualifications was a lot of pressure. Team, you always feel a little bit of pressure with everybody else because you want to do it for them as well. And today I just came in here just to enjoy it, and I didn't really have any pressure on me, so I'm just really happy.
Did you feel as though a top 10 finish was in the offing today?
I was kind of wanted it secretly to myself, and then as I was going along, it seemed more possible.
And looking ahead to the Olympics next year, obviously there's a lot of work to do to get into, say, the top 8 in the world even, but it has to be a target now for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. After this, I'm just going to go back, work as hard as I can, and hopefully next year do the best I can do.
So Jordyn Wieber takes gold in this women's all-around competition, the last World Championships before the Olympics. We could well see those 3 up on the medal podium in London 2012. What order will they be in?
Well, Jordyn, congratulations. There were gasps in the crowd at the end there when that score came up on the scoreboard. How did you feel seeing your name come up in gold medal position at the end there?
I was so surprised because, I had a little mistake on bars, and I tried my very best to come back really strong on beam and floor, but I didn't think it was enough, but I finished my floor routine the best that I could, and it was enough, and I was so happy.
Talk to me about that bars routine. Were you worried at the time that you'd blown your chance of a gold medal there?
A little bit, but I knew that it was only halfway through, and I still had beam and floor, which are 2 of my strongest events, so I really knew that I had to change my attitude and really come back strong.
How important for your journey to London 2012 was getting on the gold medal place on that podium tonight here?
It was so important. This was a huge goal of mine. It was my first World Championships, but I definitely had high expectations for myself, and I wanted to come in here and do as well as I could, and I'm so happy it turned out this way.
Because there's going to be so much competition to get into that American team next year. We've had Nastia Liukin announce her comeback here. Shawn Johnson's on the way back. Rebecca Bross. The list is endless of people who could come into this team. A gold at a first World Championships. Do you now feel confident that you've got that place not quite booked, but, you've underlined your name?
It definitely helps a little bit, but I can't get too confident because there's still a whole other year, and we have so many strong girls in the U.S., but I know that if I stay healthy and keep working really hard, I can eventually reach that goal.
And what about the rest of this week, finally? You have 2 gold medals to your name already. You have 3 more events coming up in the apparatus finals. 5 medals, 5 gold medals?
Well, that would be a dream come true. We'll just see how the next few days go. I'm really excited to compete in individual event finals.
Well, the flags are just descending behind us, and we didn't expect that order at the finish, did we, Christine?
Well, we probably did at the start of the day, but the way the competition panned out, it was a bit of a surprise to us all. Although, having to say, when we looked back over the replays, Komova certainly gave the judges opportunity to deduct, and they took it.
It's a very good point. You said that is what we expected, and you put your money on Wieber, but did you actually want Komova to win in the end?
I mean, she's a lovely gymnast, and
is that a yes?
Yeah. I mean, Wieber's got amazing gymnastics, but I think Komova's got everything. She's got the artistry. Unfortunately, she struggled a bit today with her feet. You can tell she wasn't happy out on the floor. It was just a case of, I want to get through these routines and get off the floor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with women's gymnastics. There's only 4 pieces of apparatus, so when things go slightly wrong, it's a massive, massive feat to try and come back, as opposed to the men's gymnastics where there's 6 pieces.
Yeah, definitely, but then you could take it as you've got a lot more to concentrate on the boys' gymnastics. But I think you saw with Ali, she gave herself a right, put herself behind on bars, but she did really well because she still came fourth, so she managed to pull back quite well.
Yeah, and lots of twists and turns in the story of this competition.
Yeah, I think probably the Chinese gymnasts should be the most disappointed because they did the stuff they're not so good at and then just caved on beam, really, because they both have got good beam routines. Both of them, they could have had 1 and 2 there had they not caved in on beam.
But incredibly young. I mean, the top 3 were all 16. I mean, what does that say for the future?
Well, that we've got to see whether they can survive the storms. It's easy to burst on the scene at 16. Yeah. It's much more difficult to deal with the ups and downs and still be there fighting back 19, 20 or whatever. Yeah. Those are the real champions, so if they can do that. And like I said in commentary, we will see whether Komova has got, as you said, the steel in her heart to fight back and come out at the Olympics and take the gold medal.
And what about Hannah Whelan? I mean, she finished in 9th at the end, and it was not necessarily disappointing on bars, but that was by far her lowest score.
Yeah, definitely, but I think Amanda will have played safe with the routine. She will have seen there have been a lot of falls elsewhere, so she will have taken the short clear fall out, put the giant full at the end, just for Hannah so that she could go through the World Championships and come out with a clean, safe spot. And I mean, 9th is a massive improvement on what she scored last year, what she placed last year, so she can be really happy walking away from this Championships.
Will you now be involved in her bars coaching?
I wouldn't say that. Amanda's obviously one of the best bar coaches in the country, but she has got stuff that she's working on every piece, so coming into the Olympics she will make upgrades.
Okay, well, there's more sport coming up for you on the red button throughout the night. The first practice session of the Korean Grand Prix just over the water. Coverage starts at 01:55. Tomorrow it's all about the men and their all-around final, and we'll be swapping British interest of Hannah Whelan with that of Dan Purvis.
Daniel Purvis from Great Britain.
Come on, Daniel. Lovely height.
Daniel Purvis. He's brilliant in the air. Very well controlled.
A really strong performance from Daniel Purvis.
And you can catch highlights of Dan's competition on BBC 2 at 1 p.m. and coverage starts online and on the red button live at 10 to 11. So what do we think Dan's prospects are for this competition? He's got 2 Americans and 2 Japanese ahead of him. He's ranked in 5th at the moment.
Excellent. He's Mr. Consistency, and he believes he could do even better.
Yeah. Beth, will you be back for that?
Yeah, we'll be. I mean, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected, and he knows what he's doing. And half the time, I don't think he understands the pressure that he's actually under. So hopefully, he'll be able to withstand it tomorrow.
If he can keep his head, that's the key. Okay, well, Beth, Christine, arigato gozaimasu.